Hey you, get on the stick.
Yo, bring it.
Choose your fighter.
Yo.
How's it going, lads?
Fight.
Bang, bang, bang.
Flawless victory.
Side Quest Arcade. Yo! Oh, shit. We are right out of the bat with a yo. This has never happened before. I was not sure how we were going to start. Hey, welcome back. Get your quarters out to another episode of Side Quest Arcade. Okay? All right, we're just hitting them with a yo. We got another episode. This week, Matt and Flint are actually on their way back from Japan right now. If you haven't been keeping up with their travels on Twitter, they've been memeing it up. They keep trying to at me with random shit like, oh, look, silence here. And it's like a picture of something stupid. I don't even know. Insert any random object here.
Like a seal.
Yeah. Flint was looking for spotted dick, though, and I found him some spotted dick. No, it was a dick sponge, not spotted dick, a dick sponge. So I found him one of those. Matt's going to apply it on him. We're obviously going off the rails already. This week, we got Doso Gestos. That's Spanish, okay, for you out there. 2 guests. We got back, once again, the 2-time. Actually, it's like the 4-time now. DefinePride is with us again.
What's up, gamers?
Ooh.
Ooh.
What's
we go.
up, gamers? Says the King Gamer himself.
They call me
Unfortunate-
the Game Master.
Unfortunately, Brian's still here.
The fuck, dude.
Mm.
All right, you know what? On my games this week or my how was my week, you'll realize I won't be here for like 6 weeks.
Brian.
So revel in it.
Oh, shit. Oh, man. Uh-oh.
Guess who's
Shit.
stuck editing, Bryce?
What an asshole I am for that one.
Oh, shit.
And we have a first-time guest from the superior Smite podcast that currently exists, because we don't count. We got Dirt Nap himself. We got Pickaxe Pete, Dirt Nap's dad, with us this week.
Howdy, folks.
Mm.
Yeah, man, I'll tell you what. I wouldn't call us superior. Mediocre at best.
Mediocre at best. Okay. Already diffusing the...
You gotta do what we do, you know?
I'm trying to stir the trouble, and you're already out here.
You're trying to
being-
start a clan war, and he's just not having it.
You're already out here being better than me. Damn you.
Hey, I'm better than Yuki. I ain't better than anybody else.
You're not even going to say you're better than Dan?
No, unfortunately, youth has me on that one.
But
Well,
like
and-
in your prime, Adam, no worries.
Oh, in my prime? Hell yeah. In my prime,
That's
hell
the
yeah.
spirit.
When your
Every
daughter
master
starts...
than
I've
that.
ever met, they were always better than me in their prime.
When your daughter starts talking shit to you, Dirt, then it might be time to hang it up.
Yeah, I still got her, I think. But I don't know. There's times. As they say, I'm just out of position against it. It's because you're not with me. You know, not up to my speed.
So, this
What is the
is...
speed with a walker, though? I don't imagine it's that fast.
Ooh.
Depends on the tennis balls.
Ooh. So, I got no announcements right now that I can think of. I'm probably already forgetting shit. So we can just jump right in to our games this week. Let's start with the Gamer King himself. How are your games this week? What were you up to? IRL and in game.
IRL, nothing much. Just been working. While looking for a new job. Think is swapping. And besides gaming wise, we have some Smite, and I've just been playing with my friends. Jackbox party packs.
Mm-hmm.
If you ever played those, and then been
Oh,
playing
which
this
ones?
new. I'm sorry, what?
Which ones you said?
Oh, the Jackbox party packs.
Jackbox. I heard something
Yeah.
totally different.
Okay, yeah, those
we
are
were
really
playing,
fun.
Wasn't that what we were playing the one night for Boneless, Brian?
Yes, I heard something entirely different.
Yeah, I'm sure, I don't know if this was a similar experience for you to find, but like it started out like none of us were really drinking yet. And it soon turned into everybody was just like drawing dicks, or dick was somehow the answer to like every question.
That's how every Jackbox game ends up.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, it goes that way.
Sure, it starts off like, okay, this is some humor I could show my parents, and then after a few drinks, you just get dicks everywhere.
It's never not funny either. I don't know what it is.
Exactly. That's just the
Life's
best
more fun when
joke.
you're converted.
And besides that, I've been playing this new game. It's in early alpha right now. It's called Spellbreak. It's a battle royale. I've been trying it out. It's really fun. I don't know how much I'm allowed to talk about it. They're really strict about it. So
Yeah, because you still
What do you
can't
do, like-
stream it or anything like that, right?
you can't stream it, show images. I don't even think you can like talk about the gameplay. So I can't really say like I'm not really sure. I don't want to get kicked from it. It's really fun though.
The explanation of what I've heard about it is it's what Realm Royale should have been. Is
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Exactly. That's exactly it.
I think that's what Incon is quitting Smite to like do full time, if I heard correctly.
Really? I mean, it's kind
Yeah.
of early to jump the gun for. I mean, because it's still in early alpha. If he's doing it for that game, that's pretty. He must be really hating Smite right now.
Yeah. It's weird. Incon isn't one of those people that I would ever like tie into being toxic. But if you've watched any of his Smite streams lately, he hardly goes a game without like just talking shit. I'm like, whoa, Incon, I didn't expect this out of you. Who are you?
Oh no.
It's always funny, because it's Incon and his personality. It's not like I want to stop watching because you're a toxic asshole piece of shit. It's just like, it's almost like
somebody half his size.
Yeah, without saying no names around.
No
here.
names.
So yeah.
Yep. And besides that, just Smite and then video editing. That's it. That's all I've been doing.
Ooh, we got a new one coming soon.
Yeah, we're working on one. I was working on one right now, right before you called. I was working on that, grinding it out, and then I just remembered I had to go to the store, and went and did that.
Now
Now
full
we're here.
story comes out.
Yeah.
Deep in that editing cave. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
What
Do
about you,
find,
Dirk?
do you ever edit with like music or anything else going on? Like I've talked to a few people, and some people like will edit shows while like just jamming out to music, and they can somehow focus on both. And some people can't.
A lot of times I'm editing while I'm talking to my friends, and sometimes they'll start talking too much when I'm trying to like sync something, and it's like, God damn, so I just have to deafen them and get that part out, and I'm like, all right, I'm back. But yeah, sometimes I listen to music. It depends on what you're doing, really. Like when I'm doing montages, it's just pure silence because I have to listen for like everything. But most of the time it's just you can have background noise. What about
I've
you? Can you
started
focus
watching
with it?
YouTube while editing.
Oh, nice.
That was not something I ever really could do when I first started, but because now it's just like wavelengths, and especially if we record on like a Sunday and I edit on a Monday, I remember the episode well enough that I don't have to like check for shit Matt said, and I can just like just go ahead and just, oh yeah, nothing. Matt wasn't here this week, so nothing offensive was said that needs to be cut, and I can just watch the wavelengths and cut what I know needs to be cut just from the wavelengths rather than actually, listening to it in full detail. But when Matt's here, it's like, all right, I can't watch YouTube. I gotta.
Whenever you record with Matt, just like start a stopwatch, and whenever he says something you need cut out, just push the lap button.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know
So
how
that
some
gives
people
you
do. I don't know how some people do a lot of like fucking multitasking stuff. Like I know people who can watch anime and play Smite at the same time. I'm like, dude, that makes no sense. And if you're doing that, I don't think I want you in my Smite game.
I can't even watch my Twitch chat and play Smite at the same time.
Exactly. Let alone read Japanese, right?
Yeah.
Wait, they're watching like the subtitled versions too?
Yeah. Trevor, because he's anti-dubbed, even though that's the only way to watch cartoons.
It's the only way I can watch them with my wife.
Because she's smart.
Because you refuse to commit to full weeaboo. You're not a weeaboo if you're watching them dubbed, because then you just consider them cartoons. You're just childish instead of a weeaboo, right?
I'm okay with that.
I watch subs because the only time I watch stuff is when I'm at work, because I'm by myself for hours, and I don't want that shit playing full blast and wake up my boss, who he's the owner. He sleeps above me. I work at a hotel, so he's in a room above me, so I don't want to have it like it's some shouting or anime shouting like wake him up. So I just always have it on sub.
Yeah, especially since most time anime shouting sounds like a sex scene, so it's like
especially when it's like a anime that like a woman's the main character. It just sounds like something from a porn or something, and I don't want my boss getting any ideas.
You guys remind me of something. One time I went in to yell at my kids because I had no idea what the hell they had on TV, because it sounded horrible, like a full-on porn. I go in and it's some claymation little kid penguin show, and I'm just like, what the hell is this? And just the sounds and the noises they were making, I'm like, somebody very perverted made this damn show.
Yeah.
The way you said it sounds like the Newt penguin that you're talking about there.
I have no idea what. I just know it was claymation, and it just sounded like they were just beating off and moaning and then squirting all over the place. I'm just like, what the hell?
I question why Define knows the name of that. It's like he was desperate one night, just closed his eyes and listened to an episode.
I heard claymation and I heard penguin. That's all I needed. That's all I needed to know.
Bryce, he's like my best guess. 10 years younger than you. So he's, those shows were only like 6 or 7 years ago for him.
It was about that long ago.
I know, I don't remember the name of it, but I actually remember it because I remember seeing it on, it's Canada, so it's YTV, but I remember seeing it on TV because it was one of those shows that it was like the young kids shows, like played till like 3 o'clock or whatever. And then, the older young kids, like the 10-year-olds, are now coming home from school and they want to watch like Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon, something maybe a little bit more mature than like Nuke Penguin. But I just remember you're at home, you're sick, and all of the shows on TV suck because you didn't have like on-demand internet to watch, or your mom wouldn't let you play fucking video games all day because they're gonna rot your brain out or something. And so then you're just like, all right, I'm sick as a dog, and my options are watch Nuke Penguin or watch soap operas with my mom. And you'll kind of like put it on and you'll watch it and you're like, why am I watching this? I'm too old for this. But you're also so sick you don't care. Like that age when you're like 10. But yeah. I know which one you're talking about though.
All right, so Dirt, it's your first time here. Why don't you tell us most of the whammies know who you are. You're a OG whammy yourself since day one.
Yeah.
Tell us about SplitPush. Tell us about yourself. Who are you, Dirt?
I'll tell you. First off, the only reason I agreed to come is because Matt's not here. I don't have to worry about getting thrown off any cages. So we're all good with that. But well, when Defend Middle Lane, hung up its Smite Forte, me, a couple other whammies, Yuki, Dicey, and then 2 of my kids, broke off, started our own podcast, and really wanted to focus on kind of more the learning aspect of it and so forth, because that's one thing I look forward to you guys every week, or every other week was the patch notes. That's how I got my patch notes. I have a 40-minute commute to work one way and back. So it's like, all right, I need stuff to listen to, and that's I would save all that for then, and by the time it would come out, it would be almost patch time anyway. So it's not like I get the patch notes 2 weeks in advance and then I'm just like, what do I do with this knowledge by the time it comes out? It's all discombobulated and shit like that. But we just recorded our 25th episode. Time's flying by, man. I could not believe it. We got we're scheduled to record with Weekend coming up here this next weekend, so looking forward to that. We've had a few people on. We had Taco on, F Dot, Kitten of Doom, Smitten, just to name a few. I'm missing some other. We had guys on from Verbus Gaming. All kinds of fun stuff from small to big so far. But it's been a blast. It really has. And I've always been a creative guy to some extent. And when I latch onto a game, I latch onto a game, and I dive head first in. And it's just like I did the YouTube thing for a little bit, but then when I started the podcast, it was just like I'm gonna edit. Well, I wasn't supposed to edit. Yuki was supposed to edit, but I warned them all that I'm a kind of a perfectionist, and
I can relate.
yeah. Well, it's still not.
Work literally classified me as one when I did a bunch of personality tests. It's like, how do you work well with people? Well, you don't. You're an individualist and you're a perfectionist. It's like, funny fuck you too.
Yeah, it was like Yuki did the little test, half-hour intro episode that we did, and I did it too, just for argument's sake. And I listened to him. I'm like, oh yeah, I gotta do this myself. Not throwing him under the bus, but it was just like I need to get out every little individual thing that I can. And for the first month or two, that's what I did. Now I've kind of, like you said earlier, Brian, you kind of learn, like, that's a cough, that's Yuki saying that's Dan doing this, and there's my breaths again. I'm a heavy breather at times, and so forth. So you kind of don't have to listen to it as much the whole way through. And if you take do it like the next day, or take some notes, like, oh, hour 10 minutes in, Dan's an asshole, gotta go fix that, shit like that. But otherwise, got up to the mountains this weekend. It's the first time I got up there in a while. It's just rained here all summer long, so that's kind of sucked. It's really dampened our spirits when getting up there. But got up there this weekend. It still rained, but it rained overnight, so it was all good. Otherwise, just been playing some Smite. Got into some duels again. Been taking Izanami into the duel scene, and had some good games, wins and losses. But a lot of fun. Trying to get qualified for Joust, but the problem is as we're all off kiltered on our qualies. So like Dan qualified like Plat 3. Now you can't go with anybody that's still qualifying. So that's been a mess trying to get that all figured out and so forth. But now today on Reddit, it's like, changed my mind. They need to take ranked Joust down to solo queue. I'm just like, oh, for the love of God, I understand why you're saying that, but please, I want to play Smite with my friends and do some competitive stuff too. Go play Conquest.
Yeah,
it's the same thing. You're gonna get mad because the same, like, if they took that away, you're gonna get the same crowd that got mad when they took away. I think what? Well, shit. Maybe I'm getting confused, like Brian, with the fucking League of Legends shit. But didn't you used to be able to queue as 5 people for ranked? Originally,
long time ago, but it was its own thing. It was called Conquest Pre-Made. It was a separate thing.
That's what I'm thinking of then. Yeah. So, but there's people who still get mad that that doesn't exist because people thought that that's what they would use to like scrim and shit like that, even though it never worked out like that. You usually stomped the other people. So the best way was always to create custom games and actually scrim against other teams. But yeah, so if you took away being able to queue as a team and Joust, and you're going to get the people who want to queue as a team, which rightfully so, especially in Joust, I think you should be able to.
Yeah, the issue with it is the reason they did the reason they did the single queue for Conquest is to improve matchmaking, which I believe for me it's been a significant difference. Like, my games have been closer. I haven't had a complete trash game except when I was in qualifying or when people DC. Just those issues that matchmaking can't really do anything about. But the reason they can't do that, the reason I don't think it would matter what they do to Joust, they could do whatever they want. The active player base for Joust is lower than the active player base in Duel, and Duel's active player base is already less than Co-op. Co-op is played more than Duels, and Joust is less than Duel. So it's like there's very few people playing Joust, so it doesn't really matter. You're gonna get, if you solo queue, you're gonna get queued with the other 14 people that are playing at that hour. So it doesn't. I don't, in my opinion, even like with teams for Joust, you're still gonna get bad matchmaking. There's nothing you can really do about it. So I don't see the reason why Reddit's even doing that. it's not going to make a difference.
I think especially too right now with classic Joust, you have people who like Joust split up between both Jousts now because, in my opinion, I've always since the beginning liked classic Joust better. Now I've never played Duel, and I've never been like a fan of Duel at all, so I can understand the frustration with that map that people had. But as like a Joust and playing with my buddies, I've always preferred classic Joust to the new Joust map.
I'm convinced that the reason they put classic Joust as the adventure is because people kept saying, bring back the old map. And then they're like, fine, we'll bring back the old map. Now people are like, oh, their tower's sitting for 20 minutes and I can't do anything. And it's like, well, then why do you think we got rid of that map and put Bull Demon King?
Mm-hmm.
People will never be happy. I'm already bored with Smite, though.
Yeah.
Any type of massively multiplayer game, whether it's a MOBA or an MMO, you're just never going to please everybody. And the people that bitch the loudest, if you cater them, you break the game. I mean, to me, that's what happened to WoW. Is they just listened to the bitchers and catered to them, and then broke the game for all the people that actually cared and played about the game.
I think that's also what happened with Smite too. Is like the Reddit, they started complaining, and then and Reddit, and for a while, Smite would listen to like everything people are complaining about, and sometimes they still do. But then I think they realized, oh, these people are wrong. So then they just stopped listening almost altogether. Now they listen to.
Which it can be just as bad, I think, not listening at all.
I don't think it's better. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's something I've always kind of wondered with games, where it's like, where are they getting their feedback? How are they getting their feedback? That was something actually that Smite never did as much as League of Legends. But like back when I used to play League of Legends, you would actually get like surveys like sent to you, and they'd be like, if you fill out these surveys, you will get RP, which is the equivalent to gems. And it would show up in your game. Like you would just click on it. Like it wasn't some weird link. It wasn't some email that would scare you into a phishing email. Like it would just show up in the little launcher from Riot. And it's like, if you just like fill out this quick survey, you'll get RP. And it'd be like enough for, it'd be like 1,000 RP or something. I can't remember. It wasn't a huge amount of RP. And it's kind of the equivalent of like getting like 100 free gems for doing a survey. And I always thought, I was like, oh, that was pretty interesting, because then you can try to kind of, then it follows the same kind of rules of like where they actually do like legitimate surveys. Like there's a whole lot of rules about like how you make sure to kind of grab like a random sample. There's all kinds of historical case studies about like how biased data could be, or if you pick it up from like an individual town, you can actually have like biases within a town. Like it's very weird, but if they kind of just send them out at random and they can then collect it, then you hand out the rewards, people are more willing to do it. You still can get some skewed data, but as long as you make them right. But then Smite, it was like, as one of those things too, I remember in it, and that was one of the things that would annoy me, and I don't really know why it annoyed me, even though I understand it, is back when I was like in the Reddit, like kind of paying attention, like everybody thinks they're part of the majority. Like unless you're like in a very clear, like obvious minority situation, when it comes to opinions, I've basically seen that across Smite, across politics, pretty much everybody thinks they're in the majority. Or the odd time they'll say like unpopular opinion, but a large amount of people think that there's a large amount of people that think like them. So they go onto Reddit and they do their spewing, and that's the thing with the internet, is you can find those people that are with you, and then you can have that vocal part of you that's like, oh yeah, no, we're definitely the majority. We all definitely think, we should bring back triple Q for ranked, right? Like you can find, what is it they said the problem with Google and Google's algorithms is that Google doesn't teach you to search for information. Google teaches you to search for the information you want. Something like that. Like you don't look for the truth, you look for your truth. And I think that's probably one of the biggest curses of the internet in general, across gaming and across media. And
I never thought
Google
of it
search
like
engine is designed around like what you want, your interests and things like that, based on your history of what you look for. So people used to use it to settle arguments, but then they'd always find what they want, things like that. And that's how when a lot of people voice the same opinion, that's kind of what happens. And I feel like that's what happened with Smite.
Well, it's because we're all living in a simulation and Google's running it.
Google owns it. Can I just make one request though to like Facebook and their algorithm? Like, just because I'm a gamer, can you make my ads like PlayStation games and computer games? Because like I don't want 500 different fucking shitty app games pay to win. Like you've labeled me as a gamer, but you clearly haven't properly identified me as not a fucking phone gamer. Come on, like Facebook, like hire a single gamer that understands gaming culture. Your ads, like, you know, you're probably advertising these people that you've advertised these games to gamers, except, you know, these games are actually sold to the non-gamers, to people that don't want to identify as a gamer. Like, come on.
Play
I'm so sick.
mobile Princess Flintsabot online, and the ad is just like some girl with huge titties. Oh fuck! I want to play this game. This looks awesome.
Yeah. This
or all the ones that are just like, they look like lottery games, and you're like, I don't even get what they're doing, and there's just like so many particle effects all over the phone, and like all you see is somebody like tap once and just explosion of particle effects, and I'm like, are human beings really that fucking simple? I mean, like, I get like the endorphin rush, and I guess like whatever, but like, are they really that simple? Just boom! Oh my god, colors! Yeah, this game is so fun. Like,
how do you think they got people to like Soul Calibur?
Titties and explosions, man.
They're farming. They're farming on all of the old Farmville mains. They're snagging all the people that used to play that.
Wait a minute. I still play a farming game on my phone. Thank you very much. Define.
Oh no.
I play Heyday though. Okay, it's superior.
Heyday. That's such a good name. The game's probably making bank now.
Dude, Supercell out here.
Bryce, how about you? How's your week been?
Define's still going. Or
No,
not
no,
Define.
that's,
Dirt's still going.
I literally called him Flint 2.0 when we derail off of his games this week.
Yeah. It's funny because I have Dirt's webcam is underneath Flint's name on my overlay, so he is filling in for. We'll just hijack all his shit and continue.
I'm Flint 2.0. Great.
No, I'm sorry, that was my bad. Define's 2.0. You're 2.0.
Yeah, I'm always a solid. I'm always a solid 15 minutes.
I mean, what's better, Flint 2.0 or Matt 2.0? I think there will never be Matt 2.0. It's not capable of being upgraded. It's just default. Fuck, scrap this model.
Made once, broke thereafter.
Model was discontinued. It was faulty.
I don't really have much else going on though, man. I tell you, playing Smite, got to camp. That's about sums me up for the week.
All right. Brian, do you want to go ahead or you want me to go first? I know you got a lot with IRL shit going on.
I got a fucking lot in IRL to chat about. So if yours is quick, you can go. Or if you're not worried, I'll be talking for half an hour, then I can go first.
I'll go first. So yeah, like only IRL stuff going on has been like the house stuff. And finally, like house stuff is all clear. We'll be moving at the beginning of next month. So that's part of the reason I'm not going to be at DreamHack, because it's we're moving into the house, moving out of this place, and then Thanksgiving is literally like right around the corner, and we got family coming in since we're going to have the house. So it's like a matter of setting all of that stuff up. But it's exciting. I'm no longer going to be stuck in the basement like the last place. This place, I'm like, you can't see. But it's basically like, this is supposed to be the dining room, but because it's just like an apartment, and it's like it's a 2-bedroom apartment, but the other bedroom is right next to the main bedroom. And I can't be set up there with my computer because I'll get, you're big, too loud. And I'm like downstairs and I still get it. So imagine being on the other side of the walls. So yeah.
I know that.
I will be
stuck in the basement. See, I moved here and I was happy that I got the fucking basement, because now I had some fucking space bigger than the laundry room.
Yeah, but your basement is like nice. I could see it's carpeted, it's finished. It's like an actual part of the house. Mine was like a dingy, I'm sitting here at my desk and like the fucking furnace is next to me and the water heater.
An actual man cave.
Yeah.
Like, this is actually okay. So like, not to derail from yours, but this happened to me like 4 fucking hours ago. So, like, welcome to gaming in a basement, Brian. A fucking spider actually was crawling in my hair today.
Mm-hmm.
I was gaming. I was like, what the fuck is tickling? And then I felt something on my glasses, and a spider let a web in my hair and then was trying to go across to start to go on my glasses. And I was like, I didn't know what it was. And I was trying to get whatever the fucking fluff was, and it just flopped. And it landed on my stomach. And in a panic, I started punching my own gut. And then afterwards, I ended it, died, and I was like, oh, okay, that was a little bit of an overreaction.
Gamer stabs himself to death.
Oh, I punched myself a little too hard in the abs, but the fucker's dead. It hurt for like 20 minutes. It was, like the second hit, it was dead, and like the seventh, making sure it was dead after it was crawling on my hair. Definitely, probably gonna have bruised ribs and bruised abs.
Now just go kill
the freak is dead.
Now go kill the other 98 spiders, and you get your victory royale. And
it's Canada, dude. Like,
like Brian's gaming basement.
Calgary. That's one thing I like about Calgary is like Kamloops had some of those big fuckers. When I say big fuckers, I mean they're like small by like what Dirt Naps probably sees down in the States. You know what you guys get? Our like little.
Ones.
I was gonna say a toonie size, but that means nothing to any of you guys. But
I know what a toonie is.
It's a $2 coin.
It's 2 loonies.
Ooh.
2 loonies. Yeah.
I was gonna make that joke, but apparently it's not a joke. It's a real thing. Oh.
Yeah, that's actually why they named it a toonie.
It's called toonie. Yeah, because it's 2 loonies. Because their $1 is called a fucking loony.
I was like 8 years old and they got rid of the $2 bill and brought out the toonie instead. And then the government just straight up called it the toonie. Like that's like its technical currency.
So you legitimately have cartoon money. Okay.
Yeah, they have toonies, but they don't have pennies anymore.
Yeah, we got rid of pennies. Yeah.
I thought they were talking about getting rid of pennies here too for a long time.
Nah. They cost more to make than they actually add to. They cost like 1.5 cents to make?
Probably, yeah. I think that's why a lot of places...
or something like that. Like they cost money to make, whereas when they generate any other bill, they actually like add to the total amount of money in the country. That's kind of actually why inflation exists, is because they just print more money. There's not like a set amount; they just print more, and then that's the inflation rate.
I see.
In essence, I'm sure somebody who's actually into accounting will be like, "Brian, you're a fucking idiot. Go move dirt." Like, right.
And you're gonna get a paragraph long comment, and here it comes. As you can hear the trolls already on the way.
Dude, I move dirt for a living. I actively avoid the money calculations. I'm like, look, if I can move dirt faster, that saves you money, right? So like that's about as far as I care about money.
I'll keep that in mind when I get my new house.
You're not really oily enough. All right.
I don't know about that.
Oil sands.
Uh-oh. All right, Bryce.
That joke was clever, all right? Fuck off.
Moving on.
Bryce.
Somebody who doesn't know I work in oil sands mine is
get
like,
it?
what the fuck?
You get it? Oil sands? Oil E? You guys get it? No.
That was clever as fuck. Fuck off.
So yeah, the gaming room will be on a different floor and everything. Should be good. We should be far enough away where getting boneless has no effect. But I was like, well, I can we'll have somebody come in, take the drywall down, insulate it, make it officially soundproof. And she's like, well, you'll be far enough away. We'll see. I think it'll be fine. I'm like, okay, we'll find out.
I actually have some, because I have the same issue with my brother and because I work night shift.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually, let me turn the camera. I actually have these panels that I'm gonna eventually have covering. They're acoustic boards, and they just cover the wall.
Do they help?
And they help, but the issue is I don't have ones on my door. So all the sound, instead of going through the panels, they just go straight through that door into his door. And his bedroom's right next to mine. So at 3 a.m., I'm like, I'm plastered and I'm yelling, and he'll open my door and he'll just go.
Yeah. I can't imagine your brother yelling. So shushing you is appropriate response from that thing.
Or he'll just open the door and look at me.
You're like,
so
I
sometimes,
know. I know.
Sometimes when I'm streaming in the middle of the night and you just see me look over to my right, that's what. So I'm looking at a angry brother that's trying to get some rest.
That's a good dad skill to have.
Yeah.
Just give them the look and they already know they're in for it.
Yep. I learned that when I was down at the beach as a teenager. I was hungover from taking too many Vivarin, actually, because long story but short.
Okay.
I was talking to this guy who had brought some inner city kids out, and they were coming home late one by one, and there was 4 of them, all separate. And as they came in one by one, we'd stop talking, and he would just look at them, and they went from excuses to, oh God, I'm fucked by the time they got to him, and just I'm sorry, and walked in the room. I'm just like, that is amazing. Like, how do you do that? He goes, you just gotta look at them. They'll know they know they're bad. They know what's going on. I don't need to yell at them. I'm like, all right, gotcha.
My dad mastered the go to bed art. Like our old house, we used to live in this old house that had a wooden floor in the kitchen, and all he would do is step on the wood and it'd make a loud creak, and we'd be yelling and like playing and screwing around, and then once we heard that creak, we just just pure silence until we went to bed.
You are old enough, Dirt. You are old enough, Dirt. I thought you were gonna be like, yeah, I was hungover on Quaaludes. You're like, wait a minute, Dirt. You're in some heavy shit.
No, I took 6 Vivarin and drank half a case of Dr. Pepper to try to stay awake to get down to the beach at 6 in the morning.
Okay.
My friend woke me up at 11 the night before when I went to bed early, and then I couldn't get back to sleep. And it was like, we got there. I'm like, I'm gonna go in the ocean. I'm gonna take a leak, and then I'm gonna take a nap on the beach while you guys find us a room. I went in the ocean. That first wave hit me, and adrenaline kicked in, and all that Viron and sugar from the sodas kicked in. I'm just like, yeehaw!
I don't even know what Vibrant is, to be honest.
It's a lot of caffeine and sugar to keep you awake.
Okay.
So we're gonna have, like, since family's coming into town and everything, I'm like, okay, well, we'll be in the new house. They're gonna be here from like a Wednesday to a Monday. You gotta entertain, like, what are we gonna do in the house that's, potentially not gonna have a lot of stuff in it. We still got all our stuff from before, but it's like looking for something to do. So I was like, I'll get a Switch, because a couple weekends ago my buddy was here, or I guess last weekend he was here. He had a Switch and we played and everything, so I was like, I'll get a Switch. So I got a Switch. I got Mario Party, Mario Tennis, Mario Kart, and my wife always talked about when she was younger, she liked Zelda. So I got Breath of the Wild. And like wasn't like expecting to play it this weekend and all. Like I got it now, like fully just preparing to like have it for Thanksgiving. So it got here like Friday, like 4:00, and my wife's like, well, you gonna set up the Switch? And I was like, I guess. I wasn't really planning on it, but I will. She's like, well, since you said you're gonna get Zelda, I've been looking stuff up on the internet and looking at pictures and stuff, so now I'm excited to play it. And I'm like, uh-oh. And my wife's always said like she likes Zelda, but like I've never really like played video games with her, so I wasn't sure like what to expect. So I was like, fully, because you know how like the Switch controls are. I was like, she'll play this for a little bit and she'll probably get frustrated and quit. So next thing you know, I get it hooked up for her. It was like 4:00, like I said. Next thing you know, she's like, it's 11 o'clock. I'm like, yes, that's how long you've been playing this fucking game, just sitting here. And because like I've been playing with her a little bit. I mean, pretty much like the whole weekend, all we did was sit there and like play Zelda. But we have very different play styles, I've learned. I'm like, okay, this is our goal, let's go to it. So if it's like, let's run to this other town, and I'd never realized how like the new Zelda is very open world, so there's so much shit to explore. So if you haven't played it yet, just the beginning, you wake up as Link in the Shrine of Resurrection. It's very much so the starter area. It's just a plain room. Your goal is to walk out of the fucking area. She likes to explore so much that she literally has to check out every crevice of this fucking, pick everything up, put it down, smash it, check every little flower. And I'm like, okay. So she wants to explore everything. And I'm like, okay, well, we got a mission to do. Can we just go do the fucking mission? So it's became like a very, I got yelled at because I'm not exploring enough. Like she went to the bathroom. She's like, I'll be right back. I was like, okay, I'll play. I'm like cruising across the map. Just like, okay, it's time. We've done enough exploring. We got to do what the game wants us to do. So she's like,
zoom.
Yeah. She's like, I'm going to go back and finish it. So yeah, very different play style. And
I feel like if she's like that, you need to hook her up with Skyrim.
I don't know. I don't know if I want to do that. Yeah.
It's on the Switch.
Is it? I never played
Yeah,
any. I never played any of
Switch.
the Skyrim, Elder Scrolls, whatever. They're the same shit, right? I never played any of that. So maybe this will be a chance to like check it out. Because I've heard, well, even like Mario Odyssey, I heard is really good. Now I'm like scared to get that for this same experience. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Yeah, I think that's all I've really had with is just the Switch stuff. We played Mario Party a little bit, but I had played it before, so I kind of knew how some of the mini games worked, and she didn't. So I was like,
and the new Mario Party is really fun. Looks really fun. I don't have a Switch, but I'm really excited to get one for that and the new Smash coming up.
I just wish Mario Party, at least from what I've experienced so far, I haven't gotten that big into it, but I don't think like there's a lot of like online play, which kind of stinks. Like, what if I want to like what if I don't have friends? I just want to play. But
I think Mario Party is designed for people who are having a Mario Party,
well,
not lonesome Mario lonesome party.
I think I gotta look. I have to write a letter to Nintendo headquarters. I don't have any friends.
They release a special edition Mario. Instead of Mario, it's called Bryce Solo. Solo Bryce time.
Mario Party Feels Bad Man edition. So yeah, Thursday I played like a little bit of Smite, and I was like, oh, well, I'll play Smite while the football game's on. I'll drink a couple beers and drink a few too many. Didn't feel well the next day. So yeah, we've just been hanging out, playing on the Switch.
Nice.
So what about you, Brian?
I've had kind of an actually just fucking crazy week.
All right.
It's been pretty crazy week. So start off like, last week, I think when I talked about the podcast, I'd just come home from like 12 days on site. So I was just finally having time off for 12 days. Sorry, time off finally after 12 days. And last weekend was Canadian Thanksgiving, so we had Monday off. So I had 3 days off because of Canadian Thanksgiving. And then I worked Tuesday. And I didn't talk about it last episode because it wasn't kind of solidified in stone yet. But I was asked about if I was willing to take a new role at work, transfer within the company. I'm probably never going to leave this company, to be honest. So new role, it's kind of like a new job. Kind of have to learn a whole new bunch of stuff. And that got solidified on Tuesday. Like, this is happening. You are starting a new role. And my new role is going to be on site rather than Monday to Friday. So I'm not going to be Monday to Friday in the office with all those perks, all my EDOs. I'm going to be going to site for 10 days and then coming home for 10 days. And site is like 800 kilometers away. So like 500 some odd miles from home, right? We fly in on day 1 and then you fly home like in the morning of day 11.
Jeez.
So it's kind of like a modified 9, 8, 11, and 9. But then you also have like 9.5 fucking days off before you fly out again. And like constantly, like every 10 days, you now have 10 fucking days off. So I'm starting that role next Thursday. It's kind of doing a weird schedule for October as I go out to site. But because I'm going to be starting this role, they're 12-hour days on site. So it's 10, 12-hour days and fly home and have 10 days off. This is one of the things where it's like, I'm fucking blessed with my job. My boss is like, you're going to be working too many hours if you go out to site next week. And since I'm salary, right, like it doesn't change my pay, you should just take Friday till Wednesday off. You don't have to pull my leg to tell me to take fucking paid time off. But she wants me to take the paid time off before I go out to site and start putting all these crazy hours into site. And so that's kind of a big change, right? Like I'm going from Monday to Friday to like this camp-based job. Like I'm just not going to be here for 10 days, which means that it will directly impact my ability to come on the podcast. I'm not quitting by any stretch, but this is something I kind of definitely want to talk about with the whammies. I'm going to record whenever I'm home and able to record. And we might, move a little bit back and forth. Like with 10 days, there's going to be 1 week that I obviously just cannot record. And then when I'm flying out, maybe we can try to record a day early so I can record before I take off. or maybe we can record later into the week so I can catch it, so we can kind of minimize it to like, maybe one out of every 3 episodes I'm gone rather than like one out of every 2. There will be some wiggle room that we can kind of do, but there'll be a week where I'll fly out on a Thursday, be gone for 10 days to like the next Sunday, and I'm just missing 2 weeks. So I'm going to have an immediate impact on my podcast schedule. With that said, too, then things got even kind of crazier. Is like 2 days ago, my sister gave birth. She was like 2.5 weeks early. Her water broke on Friday, and I've got a beautiful little nephew named Jacob.
Awesome.
And so I wasn't able to kind of really swing out going this week. My wife like worked the whole weekend, and she was talking to her boss about getting some time off. And so I was originally going to go out because my sister was due closer to the end of October. So I was planning on going out like in the 4 days before I flew out to HRX to go meet my future nephew. But since she gave birth early and my wife can't get those days off, we're now going as soon as I fly home from this set. So we might do a live episode when we get to HRX or DreamHack. And then with like camp schedules, like I won't be here for like 6 weeks other than like a potential live episode at DreamHack. Just because like it's like going to camp, going to meet my nephew, going back to camp, HRX week, going back to camp. So yeah, it's kind of a big life thing. So it'll kind of suck that I'll be only here for half the episodes. We'll figure it out. We'll either have some guests, maybe we'll ask Define to come on more, maybe we'll just record with 3 people. We don't really know. We'll figure something out. I'm more worried about the editing. Like Flint already does the video editing, so either Bryce has to do a whole bunch more, or Matt's gonna have late episodes. He's gonna get mad at me for saying it, but like it's totally fucking true.
No, the audio got corrupted, dude. Sure it did, Matt. Sure it did.
Sure it did. So yeah, so it'll have some change, impacts. I'll edit when I'm here. I hope it doesn't have too many like potential late episodes, but that kind of perfectionist side of me will, only be able to handle half the episodes going forward. But then with 10 days off, I'm like, what the fuck am I gonna do with 10 days off? I'm on day 3 of 6 days off, and I'm already restless because I worked 3 days, then had 3 days off. Now I'm back on to day 3 of 6 days off, and I'm fucking restless as hell. I only worked 3 days this week, right? And like, it's weird how much you kind of get used to working and how much it kind of keeps you regular. Like you're just everything, and then all of a sudden you're just like not working much, and I'm like, I'm fucking cooped up in this fucking basement. So I've only been sort of playing games, but then again, I also have so much fucking time off. I've been playing tons of fucking games. I just have so much free time that I'm like, I played like 6 hours of games today, but I'm awake for 18, so I feel like I didn't spend the whole day gaming, except on a regular work night. It's like I played 3 hours, and that was like my whole evening, right? So I don't know, I'm getting a little restless. Maybe you can hear it in my voice. I'm going a little crazy already. So we'll have to figure out what I do when I start having 10 days off regularly. Soul Calibur's not out too. So, when that comes out, those rotations are easy. So then what was I doing this week? So I was doing that thing where I was like, okay, look, I finished Dragon Quest. I talked about it last episode. And then I wasn't really sure what the fuck I wanted to do. There's always this transition time where I'm like, I invest like 2 weeks into something, I'll invest like 80 hours into a game, which takes me like weeks upon weeks, sometimes a month or a month and a half to put in like 80 hours into a game because, I play for 2 hours a night and then maybe like a lot on Saturday. But now with all this fucking time off I've had, I've fucking finished the game. And now I think I've played like 9 games this week, but only like a couple of hours of each. Because I'm like, I don't know what do I want to invest myself into. I played like 4 hours of Warframe. That was cool. I was done. I reinstalled Fallout 4 on my PlayStation, downloaded a bunch of mods, played about 2 hours of that, put that fucker away. I bought fucking Horizon Zero Dawn for the PlayStation. It was on sale for like $25, collect edition or full edition. And I was like, cool. I played that for 3 hours. I was like, not really feeling the groove I'm looking for. Then what the fuck else did I play? I played like 2 other games in between. Then I said, I want to play modded Skyrim. So then I spent fucking 2.5 days following this massive guide, installing like 220 mods, and I can't play more than an hour before the whole fucking thing crashes. And I don't know. I'm like, I give up. I'm not going to fucking finish these mods. It's not going to happen. But I've also got like 3 more days of like nothing to do and it's fucking, well, actually, it's going to be nice the next 2 days. So we might be going doing something, but it's been like fucking miserable out here. It's goddamn December and October in Canada right now. Like, the fuck. And I'm like, all right, so am I going to spend the 2 hours or like, the 8 hours troubleshooting modded Skyrim so I can play it for 4 hours? Like, I don't know. So then today, I spent the whole day, I'm like, what I'm going to do with my time off is I'm going to get more into my photography. I've been kind of really haven't done much of it this year as much as I did last year. And it is something that can kind of take a lot of time. Like if I, for one picture, some of my best pictures, I've just taken off, driven to somewhere for a sunset. Fall's really great because the sun sets at like 7 and you get home from work at like 5:30. You can have a quick bite to eat, go set up your camera for a half hour. But then like, you travel there, you spend an hour at the spot and then you travel back and like you're done. But now with all this fucking free time I'm going to have, I'm like, I should just drive to Banff every other day on my 10 days off. I should, just be chasing whatever. I don't know, I got to figure it out. I got to figure out how not to lose my mind with 10 days off. But that's been the majority of my week. Like 9 different games, 3 hours a piece. Spent more money than I should have trying to find. Oh yeah, I'm definitely getting into this. And then I'm like, that was a waste of money. I played it for 3 fucking hours. But yeah, the new beautiful little nephew named Jacob.
Awesome.
Hell yeah.
So I feel like we've been very Smite centric again lately, especially because the guests are whammies and everything.
It's because you're back to playing Smite again. It's now 3 of you are playing Smite. Like Matt and Flint both took a break. They came back in like 2 months. Now you've come back, and the 3 of you want to talk about Smite because you're all playing Smite. I'm like, look, dude, like I've uninstalled it from my computer. I've like burnt. If I somehow could burn it, I would burn it. Like, I had
through
a
your
whole
phone,
rant
deleted
last
all
week,
the images.
like unfollowing people that aren't like immediate friends or previous like guest stars on the podcast, like adding extra people on Twitter that like aren't Smite, so my Twitter's not so fucking Smite centric. Like, I couldn't walk away from something harder than I'm trying to walk away from Smite.
So while you continue not to walk away, I got a question. I got a question for Define, since he is the dual master.
Fine,
kinda,
fuck you too.
Kinda a little bit. And you got Dirt playing it now too. I should probably know the answer to this, but I've always just like wondered it and never actually looked into why. Why can't you use dual builds in Conquest? Why don't people?
Because dual you start at level 3.
Okay.
And that makes a significant difference in what level of item. When you start that 1500 gold, what's the most efficient for clearing? Where in Conquest, you need to stay in lane as long as possible so you get as much XP. Because if you're recalling, the map's so huge, it's a significant loss to recall. Whereas in Joust, it's I'm out of mana, clear wave, you're back, and you don't have to worry about builds that have no mana, just like focus on damage or protections. And also
because in duel you always build a defense item. Why don't you build a defense item in Conquest? Like I think it would help.
Because
no,
in Conquest, you want to build at least one defensive item, but you want to build a different one. For example, in duel, let's say I'm going against a hunter, I'm going to build breastplate or Nemean or both. Even it depends on who I'm against, how annoying they are, how much I'm getting fucked. Depends on how much defense we want to go. Whereas in Conquest, most people, they'll get like a good protection item, maybe a good protection item that covers both. Because in duel you only have to worry about one type, but in Conquest you definitely have to worry about both. So most people usually they'll pick up Mantle of Discord or Spirit Robe or something else that gives both protections, or they'll just go full unprotected and they'll rely on their tank to build aura items that give them those protections instead. So because the reason is the main differences I would say is that you have only one enemy in duel, and you don't have allies, and that's what affects your build mainly, and also the map size for the early game, because you want to stay in your lane and build items that like lifesteal, or if your character's healing, you want to build a MP5 so you can just keep healing yourself and stay in the lane, things like that.
I'm so tempted to cut into where Bryce said, let's talk about Smite anyway, just to put in the old like fucking VD2 intro, just right then and there, and then let Define talk, and then move on, and then cut to me bitching about talking about Smite.
That could be.
But
a
yeah,
good one.
I would say those are the main differences.
Like I figured, like a lot of it's because, like
But
you
no,
said,
like,
you
actually,
have
that was a hint.
like you have allies to depend on and everything. But I don't know. A lot of times, well, you can't fucking depend on your shitty allies anyway. I'm losing all my rank games because my teammates suck dick. Fucking matchmaking. So if I build Genji's guard on my mage, maybe it'll help out.
It's funny you bring this up because I actually brought this up the other day too. I'm like, why is it that people don't build any defense in Conquest unless they're the tank? It's just like solo lane does and support does, and then everybody else is just, balls to the wall offense. I'm like, you complain that you get deleted. You don't have any defense. You don't have any health. You don't have anything. I can't, because I've been suckered into the support role. I can't be everywhere at once. Yes, I like to build R's as the support and play the supporty things, but I can't be everywhere. And if you're going to just stream in one by one or, chase that kill or whatever, you got to have something to give you that little bit of sustainability, be able to take a hit at least.
So let's say hypothetically, I know it's crazy, right? Well, hear me out. If you have a good
Oh,
team,
shit.
okay?
Oh,
Hear me
shit.
out, crazy. Whoa. All right. So when you have a good team, you're gonna always be staying grouped. You're always gonna have the support trying to pick a kill, and you're always gonna have the solo peeling, or vice versa. You have the solo tanking, and then you have the support peeling.
Poor Brian.
In a perfect world. Or you just have Brian do everything 1v5 because he's a jack of all trades.
Look, I'm trying to turn some of these conversations to general psychology of gaming, beyond Smite. All right, and Dirt asked question about why don't people build damage.
In general, I think. Oh yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, as somebody who jokingly would do that, would jokingly scoff at the idea, even if I knew it was a strategically strong idea. I think there's that mentality of like that was one of the things I've talked about, like, offline, probably even a bit with Smite, especially now that I'm gone from it. And I think Smite plays into similar endorphin chases that people that are addicted to gambling will have. Because I know one of the things that, like, when I do have an urge to play Smite, it's something that I would have even back when I would bring me back to it. Is I don't, even though, those shitty moments suck, Smite always has really low lows, and I've talked about that. Smite, I think I was talking about comparing it to Heroes of the Storm again, because I've made that comparison 100 times. Smite, when you're fed, when you're fucking steamrolling, is the most fun you could ever have. You feel literally like a god in a game where you play gods. It's fucking addicting. It's a huge rush. It's so exciting. You can literally leave with just like feeling on fucking cloud 9 when you go like 9-0 in a conquest game, or even like 15-0 in a fucking arena game. Like, it's so incredibly endorphin rush. And that was where that addiction comes in. And I think a lot of the anger comes in is because people are chasing that moment. And when somebody in my team feeds, then I'm not getting that moment. And in retrospect, when I look back on it, I definitely lived for those moments. Those were what I was chasing all the time. I realized that when I had truly competitive matches, I didn't have anywhere near as fun as I had when I was in fucking blowout mode. And I personally call bullshit on about 90% of the people I've ever seen in the Reddit that claim that their world will be perfect in truly balanced matches. What they really want, more than a truly competitive chess match, more than an actual blowout, is a game where they are the fucking superstar. They carried the team. They're fed as fuck, and they're doing all of the work, but then it still feels like a challenge so that they feel like they're even more badass. If there's no challenge, you don't feel as legendary for it. But when there's enough of a challenge and you win while you're fed, you feel like a fucking hero, dude. Like, it's the best fucking feeling I think any video game has ever given. And I think it's a huge part of why I was so hooked on Smite. And I think it's part of the reason people get frustrated when they get going, because some people like me learn quickly. I've always been a fast learner, but I've often always had a bit of a shorter ceiling when it comes to gaming. I pick up the fucking basics crazy fast, and then I cap out and stay about where I'm at, where a lot of players cap out. And you have that fucking steamroll feeling where you are a god until matchmaking truly catches up with you. And then you have back and forth, and then you have people all chasing that fucking feeling. And then they all build damage because the more damage they have, then the more they can carry.
Go
What
big,
I-
go home.
Yeah, that's it. Hold on, let me let my brain have some time to get the words out. Okay.
That was a lot to process.
Yeah, I agree with that. That when you're stomping, it's pretty good, but to the point where you still have a challenge.
I've
But then
never had a
also had
pentakill
games-
still to this day, so I don't know
Hey.
whatever this we're talking about right now. I've never been a stomper because you never. Oh, fucking dude, I can't even pentakill bots. Okay, so let's talk about that.
What I also love is, well, I do love games that are really close, and there's that one moment where you succeed in winning that crucial team fight, and then you kill that Titan that you've been trying to fight for like for the last 20 minutes, and it's been really close. Or an arena game, where a lot of people play Smite in, for example, like an arena where you win with one ticket left,
That's
you
hype
win
as
with
fuck.
that.
That's hype as
Or
fuck.
like the five tickets, it's like running down to the wire and you snipe that last kill. There's this game where they had
Those are good too. Those are good.
There's this game where they had 20 tickets left and we had 2, and they're just waiting until the minions come. They just kill the big minion. We go in, we all blink in. I Athena taunt, and then Medusa ults, and we kill 4 people, and we snipe the victory from them. And like moments like that are like the really highest. But I see what you mean, because then everyone's wanting that moment every single game. You're not going to get that. Sometimes you'll be on the receiving end where you just get shit on when you thought you had it all, and then you're just upset about it.
Yeah, I equate it a lot to like when I used to play pool. You chase that perfect setup. You want to play against good players, because when you play against people that aren't as good, you tend to come down a level. You don't play as good as you normally can because you're playing against someone that's not as good. Their shit's in the way. You got to do more weird stuff and so forth. I like playing against better people because to me it helps raise that skill level up. And I definitely like the challenging games. I mean, we had a game here that we just talked about on SplitPush where it was a back and forth game, but the other team was winning. They were just winning and winning and winning. They had 2 Phoenixes down. They had our Titan to half health, and we had a good defense, and they had regrouped. And we put some wards out in the map to actually, help win the game. It was pretty awesome.
What's that? What's that do?
Yeah.
What's a ward?
These little things that you put out, and it shows enemy movement where you're not.
Interesting concept.
That's in the game?
Yeah, dude.
That sounds OP.
Put these defensive wards out, and they all come in. We're like, all right, they're all going towards that last Phoenix. We're like, dude, if any one of them just rushes the Titan, they win. But all 5 of them are over there, and they're just doing the dance. And I'm like, and there you see one guy go off through the ward, and then you see 2, and then they attack, and 3 of us just ditched and went right to the Titan, and we killed those 2. And then a third one of them got in from the attack, and we kill him, and then their hunter gets in, and I'm like, oh shit, I gotta get in, body block that. Our Titan got down to 183 health before Dan Asasano gets off a double ult, which kills their hunter, and their mage is knocked up and tries to run away, but he dies. And we managed to run down the field, clear the tower, clear the Phoenix, just go right for home. I mean, they were spawning. Guy was playing Alpwash mid. He had to clean up the minions from that other lane, or else, again, we would have lost. And somehow the miracle was that he had bought teleport that game. And we're like,
teleport Alpha? Okay.
And he teleports up to their Phoenix. We go in, and if he wouldn't have been there, we would have won, because they're spawning, and we're like, we almost got this. I was playing Sun Wukong. I would go up into the ult, come back down, and I managed to kill their Osiris with the killing blow on the Titan. And it was just we screamed for like a solid 5 minutes. It was just
that's hype as
hooting
fuck.
and hollering.
I mean, I guess when I was talking about those high chasing, I was forgetting about clutch moments, because clutch moments too, but and some of that was a little bit self-reflective, pushing that on to other people. Is I know some people do chase the like strategic strategy of a game like chess, and I think there were some people that were pushing for it, and then there's people like me where I think totally full of shit when I said I wanted Smite to be this crazy, super like competitive fucking chess level, understanding back and forth. And I was actually chatting with Flint off air like 2 months ago, I think, and I was saying, you know what I think actually killed Smite for me more than anything, as much as burnout happened, but where my decline really started to happen was when they changed Clash. That was one of the biggest ones, because Clash was not a crazy balanced mode. A lot of people hated on it because it was a not very balanced mode. But because it wasn't very balanced, and it was 5v5, and it was more objective focused than Arena, but more chaotic and Arena-like than Conquest, it sat right in that middle spot. Where I had the most fun in Smite was back before VD2, when I was playing with Matt and Derek and some of the other guys, Aiden, all the names we all know way back before VD2. And we would do the stupidest shit in Clash, and it could work. But then it would provide you the right amount of challenge. But then because it was so snowballing, you were match after match after match. You're just like, fuck it. You get stumped, you go. And you could have clutch moments and immediate payoffs. And it was this weird, like, immediate payoff world where, but yeah, like, you could totally be like, well, I'm fucked. But then the match is over. You could just surrender in 10 and you're on to the next one. And when they changed it, I loved the aesthetic change. I thought the aesthetics was great. Particularly the fucking laser phoenixes and some of the other stuff they did that changed the mechanics of it, changed the gold spooling in Clash, and all of a sudden they allowed for comebacks, and I always thought it felt fucking terrible. I hated it, but I think it took me a while to realize that I hated it. I definitely did look back on Smite with some rose-colored glasses, and fuck, I think you guys can hear me, but my mic wasn't picking up there. I'm wondering if maybe anyway. And so like when they made the change to Clash, I fucking hated it. Like, but it took me a while to realize I hated it. And
see, I still feel like Clash is really snowbally, and because of that, it's not fun a lot of the time.
What I don't like about Clash, what they changed is they wanted anti-snowball, and that ruined a lot of fun. Like the redid Sunder, the redid XP spooling, etc. And then Clash now, like Clash before, it was like one fight here, one fight there. It's really heated, really crazy, people dying left and right. But now it's just like a defense healing fuck fest until one team dies, and then there's like, okay, now we take their tower, Phoenix, and then they win another fight, and then it's like, oh, there's Titan. That's it.
Maybe people finally learned, but back when I was playing it, when they made the fucking change to the laser phoenix and added that gold spooling, yeah, it definitely became like, some people could say it was snowball because it could turn on a dime. When they reduced that snowball but had a map that small, you could turn the match on a fucking dime and win. And so it caused for like all kinds of crazy comebacks where the game just felt like the first 20 minutes didn't fucking matter. The only thing that mattered was the late game. The gold spooling was so fucking fast that nothing else in the world fucking mattered except getting to late game. All of the characters changed so that you were building for late game, whereas the game was more snowbally before, but people just surrendered all the time. And as much as that like sounds terrible, it was so much more fun. I was even talking to Matt, and Matt was like, yeah, like, look, he's still playing Smite, he still enjoys Smite, but the peak of Smite in his entire time was all of the time we did like we actually jokingly, the name that we contemplated before Defend Middle Lane, or a name that was kind of like on the list, was like the Maximum Manliness Smite podcast, because we had a theme where we would all pick warriors, and then we would all like tower dive as 5 warriors, and then like, you know, flex or like slash taunt, and then we'd all be screaming, and like we would always know a tower dive was coming because somebody on the team would start the tower dive, scream Maximum Manliness, and then we would 5-man tower dive as warriors. And that was just like the stupid shit that we would do, or we'd all pick 5 hunters. And it was so snowballing, it was so weird. Like the most snowballing match I ever played at Clash was 5 hunters, and we won in like 4.5 minutes.
Yeah. For that exact reason.
But we would lose just as hard. And that was like, it was like a 50-50 win rate, but there was just something about it. And when they changed it and it became more balanced and proper, and like, I don't know, maybe I think it's still a bit of a fuck fest, but a different fuck fest. It just ruined it. And then I realized that, like, despite anything and despite any Reddit fucking posters and when I had this fucking epiphany about why I had a sudden decrease, like a rapidly decreasing interest in Smite, I was a Clash main. And when they destroyed my game mode, now they've removed dual queue. Well, there's people that are like, well, you could just adjust to solo queue. And it's like, but no, there's people that in about 4 or 5 months are going to realize that the one thing they liked about it is gone. And I now kind of reminisce more with the people that liked old Joust and quit, whereas before I was like, fucking adapt. And then I look back on it and I'm like, I didn't adapt when they changed Clash, and it ruined the game for me.
And like with the change of Clash, like the change of Smite in general when they went complete anti-snowball, and what a lot of people love that like fast-paced game style, where it's either a lose in 10 or a win in 10, or less, even less than that. And that's why I switched. Like now that Duel has 5-minute surrenders, I've been loving Duel. I've been loving it so much because you can shit on somebody. Let's say like one of my favorite matchups right now is Neja Anubis, and I just shit on him for the first 5 minutes, and he F6s. He'll win if he sits for 40 minutes in his tower, but he doesn't want to do that. He's already fun. He's already like 8-0. He's already 0-8. I'm 5 levels ahead. Took his tower. I just killed Bull Demon. I'm heading for his Phoenix. He doesn't want that. He doesn't want a game where he sits in Titan for 30 more minutes. He's just out of there. He just F6s, and I'm so happy that they added that, because then like if they made it where he sit to 10, you get to the point where it's like, maybe I can win this back. But now in like 5 minutes, they're like, no, screw this, I'm out. They just pop a new game. And even me too. Is like I don't get like one thing I've been like my new aspect with like I'm trying my best. Like when I get salty, I'll switch to a different game. And then if I get mad in that game, I switch to a different game. Because I know that when I continue to try playing a game when I'm upset, it's not getting better. And even if I get a good game, I'm not gonna like instantly be like enjoying myself again. I'm just gonna still be like, nice. That was okay. And what I love about the new Duel is that it's fast paced. I can just get in, get out. If I don't like how my games are going, I can just switch to a different game and just relax, like just swap over, you know what I mean? Don't let the rage take you over, because that's one thing that was starting to become an issue for me.
I can see that.
Sure yeah, and I'm sure that's becoming a problem for everybody too, like things.
You can lose in Duel in the first 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So it's like 5-minute surrender makes sense. And that was something that was good about Clash, is you could lose in the first like 6 or 7 minutes and you could surrender right away. And we actually had a bit of like an unwritten policy where we all just got very used to being like, dudes, I'm salty, surrender at 10. And we would not, like, as a group, we would not debate it, right? Sometimes, like, unless somebody's like super, super ahead, it was an odd case, but like 90% of the time, it's like, dude, I'm salty this game. And sometimes the guys are like, I'm doing well. I don't really want to quit this match. And I'm like, well, your options are surrender at 10 and keep playing with me, or continue playing this match where I'm salty, possibly ruining your enjoyment while you're fed, and force this game through. And so we would very easily, because me and Derek both got pretty salty. It's like me or Derek would get salty, surrender at 10, like no questions asked. Just like we would just do it, get that next match started. It would keep the whole pace better. So I can see why that would work better for Duel. Fuck, I'm annoyed, but it's only 5 minutes and you can just leave and keep your salt levels down, do the next one. Because sometimes you get that. It's like, even if you can win it, you're already down and like that tilt, and you're like playing worse and you're playing from behind. And then I found I was always dread. I would be like, look, we can come back, but like, I don't wanna. And so when they changed that snowbally side of it, it's like, okay, it became more competitive. You had chances to come back. And I realized that I didn't like that. I was like, I kind of liked it a little bit more snowbally. I talked about the high highs, the low lows, and why I compared it to Heroes of the Storm. Heroes of the Storm is much more like a chess game. It was much more balanced. It's much harder to snowball in that way, and there's a much better chance of coming back. Although I've heard Heroes of the Storm is also like extremely comp dependent. So you're like, look, like extremely comp dependent. You can apparently lose in champ select.
I remember there's this game I played, Heroes of the Storm. I had to play it because as during Overwatch they had this thing where you have to play Heroes of the Storm for this cool skin. So I was like, okay. And there's this character that he had this passive where if you activate his siege, it was a tank. If you activate siege mode, you can attack players from like half the lane away the whole time.
Yeah.
So I would just switch to that mode and then I'd just sit in the lane in my tower, just killing people. It's stupid. Or there's this other character that had like a global leap and some crazy stuff. But that game was really fun. I don't think, like, even when I got dunked on, I don't think I was really salty about it because the games are really fast paced.
That is actually one game. If you go to their Reddit, people are like actually praising Blizzard for like fixing the game. Like it's a game that kind of had a rough start, didn't get a big following, and it's actually been growing and growing. It's been growing faster than most of the other MOBAs. For most of the other MOBAs, it's a dying genre, and Heroes of the Storm was the only one that's still growing. I actually, like I said, fucking, you guys can hear me, right? But my mic, every time I turn it off to cough, I think my Discord is picking up my fucking camera, and my Audacity's picking up my Blue Yeti, so I keep fucking muting myself on this every time I cough, because my mic doesn't like to turn back on when I hit the button. I'll have to remember to cut this tomorrow. So one of the things that, like, Here's the Storm, you go to its Reddit, and it's like one of the only Reddits I've been to where they're like super praising the game or the creators. Like that and Brawlhalla are like the only two like Reddits I've ever been at where they're like praising the creators for like improving the game. And it was a game that like didn't pick up well because MOBAs, they're kind of a dying genre at this point. But it's one of the only ones that's growing. And a lot of it's just because like they really just took what they had and they just kind of made it better. And they're like, I've always said it. I mean, how many times have I compared it to it? That I actually think Heroes of the Storm is the best MOBA on the market. I haven't played Dota 2, but it's the best MOBA I've played, but it didn't have the addicting highs of Smite. And that was ultimately, so I would call that the fun factor, because it didn't have this just like snowbally maximum manliness tower diving of Clash that, you know, a bunch of us had. Like our Facebook group, we literally called maximum manliness because of that like inside meme between the five of us. But Heroes of the Storm, like its character creation's way better. It's got like 9 different maps. The maps are generally better, more interesting with more interesting mechanics. Like I can't like I think I even said it back when we had VD2. If you compare Heroes of the Storm to Smite, other than unless like control scheme is a big thing, or for like you, Dirt, you're not a PC gamer much, right? You're more of a PlayStation gamer. So for you, that's not an option.
I'm just not like, a WSAD mover. If I can move with the mouse, I can play PC games just fine.
It is a mouse game, Heroes of the Storm. It's like League of Legends where you activate your abilities with the keyboard, but you click to move, like StarCraft.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I played a lot of StarCraft.
So you could play it then. But it is a game where if I make the comparison back and forth between them, like Heroes of the Storm won every category except for the addicting highs that Smite had. Oh, and Smite actually better pricing scheme. Those were like the two big things.
So, my question about the defense item.
I was waiting.
So let's move on to the community challenge.
We never got the question answered.
So this is my thinking. All right, I know it's the job of a hunter to do the consistent damage, right? And your job as a mage is to do the burst. But if you get smoked by fucking Hebo, you're literally gonna die before you can use any of your abilities. So is it better to not be able to one-shot Hebo as well because you have a defense item, or is it better to be able to live through Hebo one-shotting you?
Quick answer. If you want to go full into power, like Book of Thoth, heavy damage, maybe get a protection item. But if you want what most people do, instead of going protections, they go lifesteal. That's their sustain. Because they have high damage that heals them back a lot. That's why they usually don't go protections.
So lock Anubis.
Also, for example, because I've played as squishies against the Hebo, and you need at least 2 defense items to have 10% life after Hebo hits you. And that's assuming he doesn't use his ultimate. That's just was his 3-1. And maybe the second one.
Like I said
with Hebo, but I know what you're saying. But then if you build
like I said in a
you ain't gonna do any damage to the tanks. And then Hercules is gonna come fuck your skull.
Yeah, in a perfect scenario where you have a good team, if there's ever a situation where there's a Hebo and he's gonna one-shot you, your tank is or your solo's gonna be on that person being like, hit me instead. And that's why most people, I think, don't go protections, is they usually have someone peeling for them, or they have the lifesteal that gives them that sustain that they're needing anyway.
I will say there are more items now on the defense side that still provide you with some sort of offense. You know, they got the Berserker Shield now.
Never
I
heard of
use
it.
that on Izanami in a duel against a Loki. I was like, I need defense right out the bat, so I bought that first item, and it was great. You know, he could, do some damage, but he couldn't kill me with his kit, and then I could just use that to heal right back up with right away. But I also look at it like, for me, there's been times playing Chalk where I know he's not the hunter, but I do more damage with him if I build tank than if I say, you know what, I'm gonna build greed and go offense. And I just die. Whereas if I stay out there and sustain and just keep using that base damage, I get a lot more mile for it. So I think, there's two things to think of. You get more damage by staying out on the field versus being that glass cannon. Because lifesteal, there's times where I'm like, I ain't building lifesteal. I ain't going to land from that last, that first water spout and live to, even throw an ability to try to get some lifesteal. I need something that's going to let me land and then say, all right, let me get something going at that point.
Right.
Yeah. So I think you do got to mix it up, even if it's, it's a Hebo and you're a hunter, you buy what is it? Shoguns, gives you increased attack speed. I mean, there's things out there that you can do defensive wise that are still going to help you offensively. I mean, like even breastplate of valor, against physical gods that are deleting you, that still gives you 20% cooldown. That's a huge thing.
Yeah, that's what I was saying before too. Like, if you're a damage character and you really need protections, like in Conquest, I would strongly suggest Mantle of Discord or Spirit Robe. Mantle of Discord gives 60 protections of each 10% cooldown, and it also has that really good passive where when you're getting CC'd and you're at low health, you can pop out of there with the CC immunity it gives you. It's like free beads, and I think that's a really good option. But there are other options. Every game's not the same. There's not a cookie cutter build for Conquest or any other game mode really. You just have to build and choose what works best for you.
Makes sense. Now, I do have another Smite topic, but I'll come back to it. I'll skip it for now.
Here's the best plan. Hey, Dirt, send Bryce a Skype message. Have him on your show.
I'll skip it for now, and we'll come back to it if we have time. So there's another thing I wanted to bring up.
I swear to God, I'm gonna go up for 6 weeks. And
this isn't Smite.
Show to VD2.
I gotta not. Yeah, the name of this episode.
Are all just gonna be like Brian's in camp, VD2 special. Fuck you, Brian. That's gonna be the title of the show.
That's pretty much this one.
For the next 6 fucking weeks.
This is already Side Quest Arcade episode 24, 25, a Smite
24.
podcast.
Look. The fucking worst.
A Smite podcast.
What I got out of Brian's rant earlier was that he still sometimes has the urge to play Smite.
He literally said to get this to general gaming philosophy, and then talked about Smite for like 15 minutes. I'm pretty sure is what just happened.
I mean, I tried to at least
my
mix it a
favorite
little
part
bit.
is that it wasn't like Bryce asked the question, and then Brian's like, to get the general idea about the.
I'm trying as hard as I can.
Went straight on to a different tangent.
Yeah. Well, wait a minute here. Well, what about buying fucking defense item from Conquest, Brian? Is what I'm trying to get the answer to. All right.
I thought he was gonna talk about like buying why you would want defense in general.
Yeah.
I could go talk and say what everything I said back in the day until I'm blue in the face was without actually knowing the new items or whatever. But I literally.
It's pretty much the same items. There's only a couple new ones.
Yeah. Actually, it's amazing how much I forget some of the details. Like I used to like encyclopedia some of the numbers, and now I'm like, shit, how much does Executioners have again? Like I kind of forget now.
It doesn't matter how much it has, but you know what Executioner does.
Yeah, I still remember. But like when you said like I had that urge,
we're talking about Smite.
It wasn't even so much directly towards Smite. It was actually towards MOBAs in general. that actual urge I felt was like, I should play Heroes of the Storm. And then I'm like, didn't I, like, this was literally in my 9-game rotation. I was like, I should pick up Heroes of the Storm. Yeah, that sounds like a great idea. Didn't I just do an episode where I ranted about how I can't play multiplayer games because I hate the randoms on my team? Nah, I shouldn't do that. That sounds like a stupid idea.
Just get super drunk, queue up for ranked conquest, so you're the one everybody on your team hates. Then doesn't matter.
Don't care about your rank. Bronze 5, who cares?
Did you see that League of Legends ended a rank below bronze? Just saying.
Yeah, it's
What,
like
is it
paper
called
or some
wooden?
shit.
They're
No, I think
now
it's like
a level 0.
It's called like
like
copper or something.
or iron or
Yeah,
something?
some other.
Iron, I think it
I think
is
it's
actually.
Iron League.
Iron. That sounds familiar.
Which, like, out of all the memes, like, I saw people say Tin League, I saw people say Copper League, Wood League. I never once saw somebody call it Iron League. And it's like, come on. Couldn't you just call it Wood League, please?
There's this
Well, there's a whole statistical rant about how Smite had like 25% of players in bronze and League of Legends had like 52% of players in bronze. So it made sense to split bronze up. But this late into the game, you're like, so you're worse than bronze.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. There's this funny video I saw where he did something really bad. It's like, wait, no, and like he looks at his rank and it's like disabled league and it's like a wheelchair. It's like, oh no.
So
Oh my goodness.
Brian actually brought up this kind of sentence earlier. He said he plays the basics well. I don't know. He was kind of talking about Smite at this point. Plays the basics
Actually,
well,
it was
but
in
hits a
general,
point.
yeah.
Hits a point where he doesn't get any better, which I think a lot of people can probably relate. So I came across this article. It's an opinion piece. Okay. The title just says, I don't want to get good at gaming. I want to escape the relentless pressure to improve myself. I read this title. I'm like, isn't that the whole point? Like, I enjoy video games, but I'm not good at playing them, and I don't want to be. Why the fuck would you not want to be good at a video game? That literally makes 0.0 sense. Can you guys enlighten me on that, or
I think
what
it's
is
more
happening?
like I don't care about being the best. I care about having the most fun aspect. Like,
Yeah, if
game-
you're
I got
playing
this
life
one
as
right.
life fucking of
Become-
cringe or whatever the fuck, I can understand. You know, you're
Like,
hammering.
become,
yeah.
like all the Neath mains out there. Why
Okay,
Are
well,
you-
this
are you-
article,
I have Neath
This
Diamond.
article was
Let's
general gaming,
settle
right?
down.
all right,
this was
general.
not a
Okay, I'll
Smite
keep it
article,
general.
right?
All the
Najah mains.
tutorial main characters, character mains out there. You're not playing the like top. If you're not playing top meta, you're playing to have fun, or you play that character because what they do is very enjoyable too for you and your play style. And instead of playing like, you could always pick the top tier characters of generic game. For Brian's sake. You can always pick the top tier characters.
You could just say Soul
and-
Calibur and I'd be a little bit less upset.
I don't know anything about that game. I know
Okay.
nothing. But yeah, if you pick the top tier, you can always pick the top tier characters and find people that are your same playstyle, and you could always win with top tier characters. Or you could just do like the meme characters or the funny characters that do something completely obnoxious, but combined with other aspects of the game is hilarious, and that's what's enjoyable for you. Or you could be trash. You could be terrible at the game, but there's things in the game like maybe skins, voice lines, or other like aesthetics or features in the game that you find hilarious or enjoyable just to do. Like
I mean, I guess maybe this is it. Maybe as well. In
I got a
addition
bunch of
to
thoughts on it. Just on a title. I don't even know what the article said.
that, what
I'll let you go, Bryce.
I wonder if it's every day you go to work, fucking Define goes to the hotel. He's sitting in the lobby. He's dealing with assholes every day, trying to get discounts, trying to tell them his room's dirty, all kinds of random shit so they can get out of it. And he's just trying to be the best DefinePride he can be to get that raise. Okay, so he's got that pressure every day to improve himself. So you get home, you play Smite at night, or some generic video game not named Smite, and you just want to play the game and escape the pressure of having to better yourself. That may be it. I still don't understand because I feel like the whole point of the video game process is to get better. Whether it's fucking Hearthstone, you want to get better at Hearthstone. You play motherfucking, unless you play, I don't know, Clash of Clans. The whole point of Clash of Clans is to do better in your fucking attacks. You're not just, oh, there goes my whole army and I fucking died again. Oh, well, that was fun. No, it sucks.
Or there's the people that's like, let me attack only with archers.
Yeah.
And they surround the ocean, the whole map, the whole base with an ocean of purple-haired, bow-shooting elves.
Yeah.
Or whatever the hell they are.
Which is fine if you're doing it in your own little world. But if you do it in a clan war, your ass is getting yelled at. If you come in a clan war with some fucking archers and barbarians, your ass is grass, okay?
You're getting kicked. No warning.
No. Noob idiots. What do you think, Dart? You got some input on this madness?
I think it is madness.
Did you read the article, Bryce, or are you just like discussing the title?
The title. I'm not going to read this. You think I want to know the opinion of this gamer who doesn't want to get good at games?
Don't call them a gamer. They don't deserve the name.
Ooh,
yeah,
see?
not a gamer.
They don't deserve that.
This was killing me. I was like, are you gonna secretly come in with like this article actually had this really deep insight, or are you only discussing the title?
Let me skip to the conclusion paragraph and see if I can figure it out.
All right, Dirt, you can. Yeah, I just needed to know. It was driving me nuts.
I have been gaming since I was 4 years old, and I've been trying to get better at it ever since. You don't play a game and not try to understand how to get better at it, because if you're not trying to get better, you're not winning. And half the fun of playing the games is winning, whether we want to admit it or not. Winning is more fun than losing. And yes, you can have fun while you're losing, but in the end, I want to win. It means I got to get better at it. So yeah, it's all madness to me. I don't get it.
I have an interesting have you guys ever played Stackers? That sideshow game? It's just this tower and you push a button and it stops and then you keep building the tower, and if you miss it, like the block falls off. You lose when your last block falls off. And you try to get to the top. I've played that game every time it's there. Like in any arcade I've ever been, I'll play that game. I try to get the major prize. I know I'm not gonna get it, but I play it because it's just fun building up a tower. Maybe it's that whole, like, what is that saying? It's not about the destination, it's about the journey kind of thing. Okay. Maybe they're just enjoying a game that they're playing with their friends.
Yeah.
Now if you're playing a game, oh yeah, go ahead.
I mean, I get the destination journey thing. I'm very much like that, but you still got to get better.
It's like saying you're playing Cruising USA and you just love to drive the cars. Who cares if you get first in the race? The purpose is to win the fucking race. I'll drive the car. Okay, moving on. Go ahead, Define.
I lost my train of thought.
The journey, the destination.
I was saying maybe some people, instead of enjoying like they don't really care about winning as much as they care about like just having something to do with their friends. Like maybe like their friends aren't somewhere that they can just drive up to and hang out with. They all have this common interest in a game, so it's like we just play that game. We're not pros. We're just some whammies having a good time, right?
Unless you're playing Mario Party and have no friends, okay? What do you got, Brian? Your mind is stewing over there for some general non-Smite information.
I've got more questions than I have even insights, because the title is clearly defined, or it's very cleverly written to be as clickbait as fucking humanly possible. Are they trying to escape improving in their life? I think if that's the case, you really need to see a counselor. I think if you're not striving forward in your life in some way, like I think we're always working towards our goals in life. And if you're hiding from video games to hide from goals in life, then there's a problem.
I got the
So
last
maybe
paragraph at the end of your discussion here. It'll give you answers to your question, I think.
of what they were talking about.
Yeah.
Or were they talking about? So where my mind initially went with it was, if you think back, I guess competitive gaming's kind of always been around to some degree. Even like old school games had scores, but I think that point where Define said there about the journey, there's a lot of people like. What I was initially going to say was, I was like, well, how would you classify Shannon? She's clearly there solely for the journey. She clearly is there to just explore everything and escape. She doesn't give two fucks about being good at the game. I doubt. I don't think she cares if she could beat the boss without taking a single hit. I think she can. I don't even care. I doubt your wife even cares about getting every collectible, but I bet you she'll explore every inch of that fucking map.
Yeah, like my
she's gonna end up with more collectibles than I would have.
That's actually a great example, Brian. Like I like one time I was trying to teach my girlfriend generic MOBA game, and what happened is that and we
I just got that. It took me a minute. I'm with you now. Yeah. It took me a minute. It's like, what the fuck is he talking? Oh.
We didn't win a single game. We didn't win a single game. Like, but I did some co-op games where we play with the AIs, and we just played, and it was just fun seeing her like interact with the shit and ask what things are, and I'm sure like if we kept playing, eventually she'd learn what the things are, and then maybe that experience would die down. But that was really fun for me.
But she was
I like playing with new people.
That's trying to get better at it.
No, I don't think it's trying to get better. Just trying to know like what the fuck is this? Like you're put into a room like, let's say you get kidnapped blindfolded and you open your eyes. You're just trying to find out your surroundings. I don't think it was trying to get better per se. Because I mean, like, I lost every game, but it was still fun. Like, I was enjoying just playing with her, spending time with her, doing what I love, and her trying out what I love. You know what I mean? I get what you're saying.
I know what you mean. I'm still trying to get Dirtnap's mom to play on their generic MOBA game, whatever. But she just prefers to make fun of us when we're doing bad.
That's fair.
That's a solid strategy as well.
But
you're out of position again. Why'd you buy that item? You went with that relic?
Yeah, introducing some of the games like, God, you're fucking useless.
Yeah.
Just track PM them. It's like, what? It's like,
shitter.
Dirtnap's mom, put the fucking uninstall. Like, what?
Yeah.
Honey, I finally played.
You're sleeping on the couch now. You played like trash.
Yeah.
I'm sleeping on the bed. You're on the couch this time.
Come sleep with me when you get on a bronze, idiot.
No. But if I was to draw one more conclusion from what I think it was getting at, and this is something I even preached a bit in VD2, and something that people actually commented and like sent emails when we left VD2, was that we made Smite feel okay to just like enjoy the game and be bad at it. And so if I was to gather one other thing from that, might be a comment on some of the toxic kind of competitiveness that some of those games have, or classic MOBAs or anything, where I'd almost take from it that it's like you have to be the best, especially since Bryce mentioned my comment about I kind of plateau but I can still enjoy the game. That it's like we don't have to be the best to enjoy the game. What can't we just enjoy the game at our skill level and just like have fun with it? Why do we have to, be the absolute best we can be at all times and get salty from it? Now, that'd be my guess at what that article's kind of about, because I can kind of relate to that, because that was a big relief for me when I kind of quit Smite, was I like took just a lot of that, like, I need to be better. I have a podcast giving advice. I can't be this trash at the game, like kind of mentality.
There was this brief time where I used to like play on scrims, play with people, play ranked all the time. And that was actually the worst time of Smite for me. I hated that. Looking back at it, I hated when I was trying to do the best, like analyzing. Like I remember I made this like timer. Like before they had the timers on buffs, there used to be a time where there weren't timers on buffs, and they just pop up. I remember I made this like stopwatch thing where I got a bunch of timers, and whenever I take a blue buff, I just push the one that I labeled blue buff. just push that one. And then I look at the clock and I'm like, oh shit, it's about to come up. I have exactly 20 seconds to get over there and like shit like that. I hate that. I hate that I did all that. It wasn't fun. It wasn't fun at all memorizing any of that.
See, I would, go along a little bit with maybe you're right. Like my wife's enjoying it, not to get better, and she's just enjoying it. But she's also the same woman who admitted during the original Zelda she would take notes so she would be better prepared later in the game. Or I'm like, if you're taking notes on the video game, that's some next level shit. Who does that?
That's more than me.
Yeah. You're like, shit, I need to remember this. I need to write this note down right now. The boss takes 1 step back and 2 steps forward and 3 steps to the left. Like, I don't know exactly what the notes were, but I can only imagine what a little kid writes down as
She has
notes.
like a drawing with like labels, like
yeah.
weakest point.
So the last paragraph, it's written better than I'm capable of reading or speaking, so I'll try to do my best here, Says, I need some like light.
Do like
drama music.
What is it called? Oh no, it's something else. I can't remember.
Oh, that thing?
When they're like really ASMR. Just do ASMR voice for us.
Hello. So it says, if I'm going to enjoy the absurd capitalist soma of video games, is that how you say that word? Soma? It looks like it's
I've
soma.
already lost what they're saying.
I'll buy it.
Yeah, I'll start
I don't
over.
even know what a soma is.
Let's catch up here, Brian. Okay? If I'm going to enjoy the absurd capitalist soma of video games, the last thing I want to do is feel like I'm being badgered by a superior at a dead-end job. Don't take shortcuts, in quotation marks. You need to upgrade your basic skills, improve at the core mechanics through repetitive practice regimes, says so many gamers. All right, calm down, regional manager Greb Flang. Nobody will ever be as good at you at harvesting the virtual turnips. Now let me get back to rotting my brain. I feel like this is shitting on gamers at the same time as like you're trying to be.
This is an anti-gamer post.
This is an anti-gamer post. I think this is just claiming that gamers don't want to improve in life. Now I feel like we need to. I'm not going to start a flame war, but
oh, I mentioned the Cruising USA thing. Let me read this. Newsflash, Milky Trousers. Wait a minute. That's kind of a sick fucking gamer tag. All right, I might need to change my name to Melky _ trousers. Newsflash, Melky XX69. Newsflash, Melky Trousers. This is entertainment we're talking about. This is an object people purchase in order for it to provide them with a pleasurable experience. If someone wants to buy Mario Kart and set it up so they get to sit there and watch the car drive itself, who cares? Listen here, fucking author of the article. Nobody buys Mario Party and says, I want to watch the car drive itself. Well, actually, I guess we all watch Twitch, so maybe not. Oops.
Twitch, though, is
but I
greatly
guess
about
you're not buying it.
personality more than anything.
Yeah, true. I don't know.
Yeah, if you don't want to get better at the game, go over to Twitch. Watch somebody else play it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, watch someone else that's better at it. That wants to watch the real gamers. If you're not gonna, that's my saying. This is my saying. Here's a quote.
I'm realizing this is a gamer hit
quote
piece
it.
more than it is like actual
All right,
paper.
here it is.
Like,
Okay.
Paper,
All right.
pen.
Yeah, he
Paper,
has it
pen.
ready. If you're not gonna be a gamer, go to twitch.tv/DefinePride and watch a real one.
I'm going to cross that off. I'm not going to.
You could just say Twitch. Go to Twitch and watch a real one.
Oh, a real one. Bow, 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 bow.
Yeah.
All right. All right, Brian. Milky Trousers himself. Let's get in to the community challenge here. Hit us.
Right.
Hit us with it.
Community challenge this week. So this week, as we were reading, I just shrunk the screen so that I could go read the community challenge, and I finally just saw the post with DM's face looking so upset. It was not what I expected to see when I shrunk you guys from full screen.
It's been sitting there for me the whole time. I just looked down and he's like
just staring at DM.
I'm just judging us all. I did not know that was there.
For those of you guys don't know what Brian's talking about, there's this tweet at Loki Plague tweeted out. It's a picture of DM looking very salty. And the caption is, the look on your face when you just want to scream at children to make your life seem meaningful, but instead get slapped with a 72-hour ban. Oof. That's a fire tweet, though.
I was not expecting that. All right. So the community challenge this week was what game, like what moment scared you the most? Like gave you the biggest scare out of like any game you've ever played. I was inspired because I'll tell mine first, which is different from the community challenge because I kind of half spoiled it last time. As I was reading all the comments about The Walking Dead. Now, The Walking Dead has a bit of a suspenseful, sometimes creepy, like sometimes kind of hard to watch as you're like cutting people's limbs off gameplay. I wouldn't necessarily say it's known for like being that much of a horror. It's definitely more of a drama, little, the odd jump scare too. But there was a moment in it, so like spoilers to like a really old game, where have you guys played it at all? Just so I know.
No. Speaking of spoilers, video games though, fuck Danny boy. Okay, that's it.
I've played the first person one, not the Telltale Walking Dead.
Okay, so in the Telltale one, there's like chapter 2. I won't go into details of who these people are, but you're at a farm, and you basically know from the minute you get there that something's going to go wrong here because it's that kind of game. Like nothing's going to go right. And basically a human, not a zombie, is kind of chasing after you. And you go into a barn, and then he crawls behind in the barn, and he's like crouched down behind like when you see like those doors or whatever, like the horses will be behind, and then you've got like the hay behind you, whatever, like a little horse cell in a barn. I can't remember the exact terminology. I moved dirt. I'm not a farmer. But so you're hiding in there, and the guy's got a shotgun.
Wait, a correct term for a horse cell? I mean, you could have just said like the stable.
Yeah, that'd be the one.
Okay.
So you go into the stables. Yeah, that'd be the one. So you go to the farm, right, with the stables, and you go into like one of them, and you're kind of hiding behind it. This guy's kind of like chatting quietly, and you can like open the door and look at him, and you see him kind of peeking around with the shotgun as he's looking for you. And then I closed the door for a second when he got close, and I guess there was like a quick time, or I was supposed to move somewhere. And I guess this whole time he knew where I was. And I'm up at like 1 a.m, all the lights off, been playing this game for like 6 hours. I'm like really into it. And I'm literally at that stage where when you're into a game and you start to like move your body, like you're playing a racing game, you literally move left and right. So I'm hiding behind it, and I'm literally like curled up with the controller. And I'm actually moving my head as I'm like opening the stable gate, kind of looking for him. Then I close it, then I'm waiting, and I'm hearing him talking, and I'm kind of suspenseful. And then I open the gate again, and his shotgun barrels are right there in your fucking face. It fucking scared me so bad. Like, I was so into it. I was so not ready for that shotgun to be there. I literally flicked my hands up, threw my controller in the air. I was in that chair, so it's actually with the wheels. This chair can't move. Literally kicked the chair back and threw my headphones to the floor. And, like, my heart was racing. I was not ready for that shotgun to be in my face. I thought he was going to walk past, and then I was going to sneak through the door and then like sneak behind him. Like most of those other video games, he would walk past you. But this game, the door opens, the shotgun's in your face, and you're supposed to quick time event to put the shotgun away and then run away. But when that fucking shotgun showed up in my face, I was fucking like heartbeat, like out of breath, like practically fucking hyperventilating, like, oh my God, fucking headphones on the floor, like I'm starting to sweat, and I was like, that scared the fucking shit out of me. I have never been so scared in a video game in my entire life. and that was the game that did it. Holy fuck! I'll never forget that one. Because I don't play much for scary games. I can't stand jump scares, and most of them kind of give you that jolt, and you're like, fuck. But that one, holy crap! I did not expect it. Did not expect it at all. So I was thinking of that moment when we were reading all that Left 4 Dead, or not Left 4 Dead, The Walking Dead Telltale game stuff in last week's community challenge. But how about
the
you,
horse
Dirt?
cell? The horse.
You
cell.
said you've got years of experience. What one gave you the biggest fright?
So I had to think about this. Didn't take me long. I'm like, oh yeah, I clearly remember now. So again, digging back into my experience here, back on the original PlayStation, back when games were just starting to really get good. I mean, getting away from the old Atari and shit like that. And
there's a big gap between Atari and PlayStation.
The PlayStation starting music, mint.
Yeah. But that's what it was. It was actually the music. That's key here. Playing Tomb Raider, okay? And throughout the game, whenever the music starts, shit's about to happen. All right? So for me, it was like, all right, I go in this cave. And it's like this jungle and a cave. I'm like, okay. And then there's some little dinosaurs in there, some like little raptors, and you shoot them and you kill them. Like, okay, dinosaurs. This is cool, And it doesn't
were any
render
of
the
them
whole way
Flint?
out. So you get this like dark area way out in front of you, and the music starts. And I'm just like slowly like walk around like, what the hell is going on? The music started. It just gets you ramped up. And then all I see charging out of that darkness is a Tyrannosaurus Rex coming at me. I'm just like shitting my pants. Like, what the fuck am I supposed to do against a Tyrannosaurus Rex? And all I have is 2 fucking pistols. And I just started doing backflips and shooting and backflips and shooting. And then I felt cheap because I just went back in the cave entrance where he couldn't get me, and I shot him until he was dead. But it scared the hell out of me. I'm like, oh, fuck no, I ain't fucking with that shit. Hell no. I mean, and then I cheaped out of it. But that was it.
I don't think I ever played that Tomb Raider. I might have to go back and check it out.
Yeah, I, like Brian said, I don't care for jump scares much. I don't play many horror games. But, that was, it was a fun, suspenseful thing. But man, as soon as that music starts, you just know something's coming in. And wasn't expecting that.
It's a little bit like my shotgun. Just was not ready for it. Probably why you gave it the big scare. All right, I'll read Nevaeh's here. So Nevaeh when she was on last week, she was admitting that she's gotten pretty scared, and she actually linked a clip. I'm gonna have to check this out after of probably the biggest scare she said she had, and it was on her Twitch when she was streaming. So she says, a game that has actually scared me. While I'll admit I get scared fairly easily, and jump scares are abundant in most modern-day horror games. I'm looking at you, Outlast. So my list can be fairly long. But top on the list might actually have to be Alien Isolation. The jump scares were few and far between, but what really terrified me was the constant fear that Fluffy, I named the alien Fluffy to make myself feel better, would be just around the corner. There are moments in the game that play on claustrophobia very well, so it was just an all-around tense game. I appreciated having a game that terrified me throughout without heavily using gore or jump scares. The most memorable scare was when I found out that he can travel through the air ducts. I've attached a clip of what I've got to this part. It's fairly early in the game. I've seen clips of that game. I've seen clips of that game. Apparently you can play in VR.
Yeah. That game's crazy.
You know what also looks terrifying is Resident Evil 7.
Oh, that game too, yeah.
And then apparently you can play that in VR too. I was trying to watch a Markiplier.
That's the latest one, right?
Yeah. Where they totally changed the
play
formula and went to just like straight up just terrifying game. And I was watching like 3 hours of Markiplier doing it, and like nothing even happened yet. The setting just had you terrified. There wasn't a single jump scare. Maybe like the odd like something gets knocked over in the distance, but like the whole setting was so creepy. I was like, this is too fucking scary. I can't watch this. And like he didn't even get to like the scary parts, and I chickened out. But
That's an intense one.
how about you, Define?
For me,
what game made you shit your pants a little bit?
I mean, I play a lot of horror games, so I'm not gonna count. It's gonna be a horror game, but I'm not gonna count ones that the goal of it's to jump scare you.
So Five Nights at Freddy's just gone.
Yeah, Five Nights at Freddy's.
That was
like
one that's scary as fuck.
SCP Containment Breach. There's a lot of unintentional, but that's because that's just how the characters interact. There's this game. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of it. Have you ever heard of Alan Wake?
Yes.
No.
Okay. TLDR. It's about an author who released a book, and like his horrors are coming to life practically. Like the horrors in the book are coming to life. So and it's like this whole like light versus darkness, like actual like light versus these they're like zombies, but it's like possessed by darkness. Like the bad guys are dark beings are possessed by the darkness. And there's this one part whenever you encounter a fight, it does this thing where the enemies will run at you, but it's in slow motion. Like it gives you a visual like, oh shit, here comes a fight. But there's this one time where it didn't do that. And I was walking through the forest, and suddenly out of nowhere, this big guy with the chainsaw just comes up it's in third person. So it comes up from behind me and smacks me with the chainsaw. And I like jumped 5 feet. And I was actually with my brother, and he shit his pants too. Like it was terrifying. Because usually it warns you when something like that's going to happen. But out of nowhere, this dude, the first character that's like 5 times the size of us, just comes out of nowhere and smacks me in the back of the head. Now it's so scary. No music, no cue, nothing. The first time it ever did that, the whole game, it was a bug or something. I don't know what happened. But it was terrifying. But that was a really good game, and I suggest people try it if you haven't. It was really good. The way it kind of like Alien Isolation didn't really rely on jump scares. It just on the atmosphere, and those types of games are always good to try out.
Fair enough. So we'll read another one here from Jordania. He says, no, I'm late. I think you posted on Tuesday. Oh, no, he's posting from last week's. Fuck it, I'll read it. So this was last week's Weedy Challenges. No, I'm late. Forgot, so you can mention this if you want, but I want to say it. The anime Clannad, the ending of the second season Clannad After Story. After going through the show based around teens in high school, I lost it when Tamaya's wife, Nagisa, dies giving birth to her child. It crushed me seeing the relationship pan and progress. It started from high school and onward. Then when the child is 5 years old and finally is close with her dad, they kill her off from the same sickness that killed Nagisa. I lost it. Bawled my eyes out for a decent 15 minutes and still tear up thinking about it.
Feels bad, man.
Then he says, I don't play scary games, but the closest I felt to that rush was getting my first chicken dinner in PUBG. The game is multiplayer survival horror game, and that rush I had at the end of that must have made my heart beat so fast that nothing in game has gotten close. There's another game talking about chasing a high a bit, eh? That high of winning your chicken dinners, especially if you're not like Shroud.
It's almost like getting, like, if you hunt or whatever, it's almost like getting buck fever, like when you're the last one alive against somebody else. Like, I don't know. For me, it was anyway. I literally, the first time I won in Fortnite, I got hot. I started shaking. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with me? I'm playing a fucking video game. Settle down. Jeez. That's it.
There's an ultimate high chasing game, dude. And then Fro Double G says Resident Evil 4. I was 15 and my friend and I rented the game and camped in the backyard that weekend. The creepy village and being outside in the dark scared the shit out of me. I lived in the country, by the way. And then Kyle with the I'll read it, but I don't watch or play anything scary because I don't get scared. I automatically predict when something scary is going to happen, so I find them boring. And I'm going to follow that up with the last word you said. Boring.
Your name is now Chad. Your name is no longer Kyle. If you're like, dude, I fucking can't get scared. I don't fucking do. Okay, settle down, Chad. All right, jeez, Louise.
How about you, Bryce? What game scared the pants off you?
I was trying to think about this for a while. Like you guys, I don't play like a whole lot of scary games, so it really comes down to like the ambiance or like not necessarily. It's a lot of like kind of like throwback to when you get that first feeling from playing a game. Like one game I played, I had no idea about it. Have you guys ever played Gone Home?
Nope.
I've heard about it. I think I actually have it in my library. I don't think I've played it.
Yeah, so it's built around the atmosphere, it has great soundtrack or whatever. I don't want to ruin it for you if you haven't played it, fine, but it's like the whole ambiance is what makes it scary. And then you realize there's no reason to be scared. But so yeah, so along the same lines, I couldn't answer SOCOM for this one, even though I wish I could, because I pretty much answered that for Eddie. Hey, what was your SOCOM? SOCOM? So there was this game. It was originally called War Z. Then the fucking movie came out with whoever it was. Brad Pitt?
Tom Cruise?
Yeah,
Tom Cruise?
Brad Pitt, World War Z.
Yeah, World War Z. So they had to change the name from War Z since World War Z came out. It became Infestation Survivor Stories.
Oh, God.
It was pretty much what like Summit started getting big on originally. Same thing with Dakotas. If you guys watch Fortnite, Dakotas originally played War Z as well. But when it first came out, the soundtrack, you can type like War Z theme song, sound, whatever. The song was like eerie, and then the random soundtracks that would play during the game sometimes had these loud fucking ambient sounds that would just like play. It wasn't like consistently all the time. You'd be doing something random and this fucking loud ambient sound would play. Scare the shit out of you every time. And it's like a zombie horror survival game, open world type thing. And eventually just became this like PvP fest. You'd go into towns. There was like no, like, maybe I'll let this little guy with a shitty weapon live if he gives me his fucking candy bar, which is kind of like what it was at the beginning. It quickly became not that. And even when it wasn't necessarily that, it was all PvP in towns, I still enjoyed the game. But by then it was no longer like scary at all. You had no reason to be scared of the zombies or anything like that. And then the developer sucked and hackers took over and it went downhill quickly. But it was just like that first experience of when you first start playing a game like that, it just seems like scary as fuck. And then it all goes away eventually, but it was fun for a long time.
I got a runner up for myself, but I'm going to go into spoiler territory for it. So if somebody doesn't want spoilers for the Batman Arkham series, you can just stop listening now. We're going to tell the story and then wrap up the episode. Actually, before I even get into it, since some people might not want spoilers for Batman Arkham series, I just want to thank Dirt Napstat and DefinePride for coming on. Appreciate it, guys. But we'll do a proper sign off afterwards.
I'm glad to be here, man.
Yeah. So I was just thinking about this one. This one was the second one. It was also a jump scare, but it was a jump scare that like also just scared the fucking shit out of me and like gave me the biggest like pounding heart. And it was in Batman Arkham Knight. And so when you play the Batman Arkham series, I'm going to go into spoiler territory here, but Joker dies in the second game, and Batman's losing his mind. Yeah, whatever.
I had no idea.
And
wait a minute.
Batman's basically going crazy. Like a huge part of Batman Arkham Knight is Batman like losing his mind, and he's like seeing visions of Joker. And there's this part, and like it just kind of like now I know where it happens, and it's after a certain story moment. But like a huge part of Batman Arkham Knight is like traversing around the fucking city. Right? You're always just like, it's kind of like Spider-Man's got his web swinging. Batman glides, then shoots his like bat claw, and then pulls himself, and you can catapult off of it, and then continue to glide. It's like the Batman version of the Spider-Man web swing from the new Spider-Man game, right? It's like how you could traverse the city. You just pull yourself to the building and shoot yourself off. You do it all the time. Like, it's just a very core mechanic. You will do it hundreds and hundreds of times. And they don't do it on like the first one. They do it on like the 10th one or 11th one, or there's some number after some story event. So you get released, you have all the finishing chats, it then tells you to go on this quest to the other side of the fucking city, right? Or wherever. That's close enough that you're not really going to fast travel, and you're getting ready to start just fucking doing it. And then you pull the trigger to shoot the bat claw at one of the buildings, and you're getting ready to do the catapult, and then as soon as he gets to the catapult, fucking Joker, he sees Joker's face, like Joker's just sitting at the edge of it, and it's all in Batman's head. And it even scares Batman to the point that he loses, like, he lets go of the bat claw and then has to, like, reshoot. But it's just like he stops and Joker's just there, and, like, you're not expecting it. It's just so out of the fucking blue. Scared the fucking shit out of me so bad. Just like literally, like, hands shaking. And you just, there's Joker. Oh, what the? Where did that come from? Like,
Where did
this
it go?
is not a game for jump scares, and it does it twice. Once with this weird bat hybrid human thing, and once with Joker. At just like at completely random times, and it startles the fucking shit out of you for both of them. Yeah, the game is not a jump scare game, but there's 2 jump scares in it, and by God, they scare the fucking shit out of you.
So I don't know. Do we got a community challenge for next week, Brian? Or are we we'll post it in the
I got a couple
Discord?
written down.
You got a couple?
I'm still always open to people's suggestions, but I was thinking we've done a lot of stuff before that like really resonated with you in the past. And after a whole lot of recent conversations about How I Met Your Mother and the subpar Full Metal Alchemist at Benji, I decided to make this one. What is the worst game or show ending you've ever experienced? Like, what one just sticks with you where you're like, that was the worst fucking ending I've ever seen? Like, leaves a bad fucking taste in your mouth, ruins the experience, and like ruins, even if you were enjoying it, the ending was so bad, the game is tainted for you. And I'm going to not talk about How I Met Your Mother or Full Metal Alchemist. No, wait, I won't be here. So, How I Met Your Mother and Full Metal Alchemist at Benji.
Wow. All right, so that's a community challenge for next week. Thank you, Brian, for once again coming on. You graced us with many enlightening topics on a generic game, not
generic
Smite.
MOBA game.
Generic MOBA game. If you guys want more comments from Brian on a generic MOBA game, you can follow him on Twitter at SQA_happiness. If you want to follow Pickaxe Pete himself, Dirtnap's dad, you can follow him a couple places. Now listen, you guys think I'm particular about my underscores. You can follow Dirtnap's dad on Twitter at Dirt_Naps_dad. He's got 2 underscores. That's pretty particular.
One and up in you, man. One up.
Or you could follow SplitPush at SplitPush Podcast, except without the A. I assume it just wouldn't fit.
Yeah, and we're not Canadian, so there's no
Oh,
A.
ooh, I like that one.
Ooh.
That's a good twist on it.
Hey.
Ooh, that hurts a little.
Yeah,
You're
check them.
outnumbered this week.
Yeah,
I was thinking about that before we recorded.
We didn't
This
even
is
give
like
you
the
shit
most
either.
Americans we've ever had on an episode.
damn it, missed opportunity. Nice catch there, Dirt. Yeah, they got a Discord as well. Check out their podcast. They're some good fellows. Okay, they're a little bit more well-mannered than we are here. So if you want a clean, nice podcast, you can. And you can pretty much follow DefinePride everywhere: Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, Grindr at DefinePride. Because somehow there is only one and only DefinePride. Nobody else wants it. I guess because he is the gamer, the one and only true American gamer. He's like the Hulk Hogan of the gaming industry, I think. Right? So thank you again, guys, for coming on. We made it fucking 2 hours. Somehow we did it with no real topic, but we made it. So next week, Brian won't be here. Unfortunately, though, Matt and Flint will be back. So
they might, by the sounds of it, they might do their own, just like record talking about their trip to Japan. Like, you might just be there to hear the stories from Japan.
I'm down for that. There are some
the shit they've been talking about in the Facebook chat.
Yeah.
Brian was Bryce was there the whole time. Bryce was there all the time. I saw him in all the pictures. I saw him in so many pictures.
Is Matt coming back? Because I know those heated toilet seats over there were really inviting.
Mm-hmm. I've never sat on a heated toilet seat. I'm intrigued now.
Yeah.
Okay, here's a funny story with heated toilet seats, right? So my dad's a plumber. He's installed them before, and they're fucking expensive. They're like $1,000 to build or to install in Canada. Like, they're not cheap. And my dad's ex-wife, when he was getting divorced from her, like, she got a heated toilet seat. She got him to install it. That was like one of her first requests she asked for when they like got married or whatever. Like, oh, you're a plumber? Like, install a heated toilet seat for me. And when they got divorced, there was like huge discussions and debates about who would get the heated toilet seat. It was like $1,000. And she like literally had it like it was came down to the divorce paperwork where it was like she gets the toilet seat. And like this was something that's discussed. Like, you get the dog, you get the cat, you get the couch, you get the toilet seat. She won the toilet seat, and then she was like, "Okay, uninstall it for me." Dad's like, "It didn't say anything about me having to do it for you. Go ahead and take it off." And then my dad still has a toilet seat.
That's awesome.
And his new wife loves it. I think it's weird. It's to settle. I don't know. It weirds me out when I.
If I ever sit on a heated toilet seat, I'm gonna
loosen things up, right?
It's gonna make me think like someone else's ass was just warming it up for me.
No, it's
That's
warmer than that, dude.
That's what I'm thinking. Every time I sit. Have you ever sat down in a warm toilet seat? That's the first thought that goes through my mind. It's like, whose ass was just warmed it up?
It's warmer than anybody's ass could ever leave a toilet seat.
See, I've been known a time or two to wake up from a drunken slumber, still asleep on the toilet. So I think that's only downhill. If this toilet seat's nice and toasty, I think I'll just take a little nap right here. No need to go anywhere.
It's weird. All right, it weirds me out. My wife loves it. My dad's wife loves it. I think my dad, I don't know. I don't think he's kind of indifferent. It weirds me out every time I'm there.
Yeah. So they'll have stories. They went to Mount Fiji. They apparently almost got abducted by the Yakuza. So I have no idea what to expect with their stories from fucking Japan. So tune in next week for a couple fucking noob idiot bot feeders like Willow named himself. Well, I guess I did name him. Okay, I'm going down a tangent. Okay, goodbye. See you later. Bye-bye.
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 See ya.